Your life, thanks YouTube. Dumbass. What about this? Is this working? Yeah, okay. The fudge. All right. What? Okay, cool. Yay! It works. Squeak, 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 squeak. Squeak, squeak. Hi Mallory, hi San, hi Kevin, hi Heather. Hello Otto. Hey Okuni. Hey Patricia. We are having a scout cam today because Pico is a bit bugged since this morning. Hey Marla. We often joke that Pico works on PEC OS 8 because she's 8 years old. That's the number of her operating system. And it's a bit buggy today. Hey Malvina, hi. So yeah, I think Pico went to sleep on my other shirt in the bedroom. And Scout was really, really intent on stealing Mr. E's chair. So she's the cat cam today. Or the cam cat. How is everyone today? Bonjour. Hi. Alright, so what I'm doing, that's a great start. I forgot my tea. But what I thought I would be doing today would be to paint these multiple little paintings that I gotta do for the Patreon rewards. I'm late on. I don't mean to be late. I really struggled to find a theme, and I had like 10 drawings or painting to do, and I really struggled, and I was like, I don't know what to do, and I tried a bunch of ideas, and I was like, nope, not working, and then I was talking to Mr. E, and he was like, hey, you could draw a bunch of Mages of the Paw, which is the the order of magician we have in our comic that's composed of cats. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea, and that's how I was able to, get these done. But yeah, I don't want to like do them quickly, like in the way that I don't do a good job on them, but I want to get them out to their patrons as soon as I can. So that's what I thought I would be working on today. Yeah, PEC OS 8 is updating. But I think she sort of blue screened sometime last night. Oh, that sounds awesome, Kevin. Had to be in sleep mode. Oh, thawing. Yeah, oh my gosh, Patricia, it was so cold yesterday. And tomorrow's supposed to be above 0. It's like in the span of 48 hours we go from minus 28 Celsius to like 4 Celsius. Which, how are you supposed to plan a wardrobe for that? Hey Dan! Alright, hey Alex, I'll be right back, I just need to go grab my tea. Hey Alan!
J'ai oublié mon thé, squat.
C'est qui oublie son thé? C'est moi.
T'as oublié mon chouette.
Bon. T'es quoi, tu rentres dans la chambre?
J'hésitais, est-ce que je vais mettre des linges chauds ou je ne pas?
Bah là, non, rien, en fait, t'es ton propre pas loin, tu savais y aller, mais en haut, je peux sur mes chemises, je peux sur les chemises. Donc, lui, pas dessus, parce que c'est péco quand même.
Je vais laisser dans ta chemise, moi je vois ton vêtement, c'est-à-dire.
Good. Ah. Aw, Heather. So many kitties around. That's Canada. It didn't used to be that bad. Hey, Elena, hi. Oh, okay. All right, Stephen. That's really your decision. So, thanks for letting me know, and I hope you enjoyed the nutrition summit. All right, so these two are mostly done. I only have to take a bit of white gouache and add in some highlights in some spaces. But technically, painting part is done on these two, so what I do is I usually paint like a few at once, because while one dries, I can paint another one. Oh my god, I keep seeing things that I forgot to ink. So not this one, not that one. Let's grab another one from the pile. Hey Bones, hi! Oh, that one. That should be good to go. Just gotta grab the trash can. I'm sorry, I'm a bit, I feel good, but I don't know why, I'm a bit tired. I had like one tea, one coffee, and I have another tea, and I'm still kind of sleepy, so. My partner is from a very cold pocket of the world. It could be -5 Celsius outside, and if stepping outside in a t-shirt, it's a quick shudder, a deep, deep breath, and then it's good. So they would be like used to the cold and able to just deal with it. I think it is, Bones, but it's really nice to see you. I'm not always cold because like sweaters and shirts and whatnot, but I don't do the going outside in less clothing than necessary thing. I mean I get cold just watching people go out without a hat on when it's cold. I really can't do having my head cold. I will always, like, first thing I will wear is a hat or a beanie or whatnot. I have no idea how people manage to. I know the idea is like to protect the hairstyle or something, but I just can't. I generally prefer it to be cold than hot as well, because that's like you say, Mallory, we can put on sweaters and add more layers and whatnot, but when it's too hot, once you're naked, there's not much else one can do. But yeah, I still don't want to be cold, you know, like if it's cold, I'm gonna wear what I need to wear to feel good. I see people outside without gloves, I also shudder, because I'm like, oh, cold, you know, when the skin dries and cracks and bleed, like that's not fun. Maybe 20-second adjustment period and that's it. They have a sweatshirt, oh wow. But -5 Celsius is not all that cold. It is cold enough that you might want to wear something over your t-shirt for sure, but in the span of temperature, like if that was the colder it could get here in the winter, I wouldn't mind. I'd be fine with it. But no, we have to have something like -30. And it's often like -15 and it gets to -28 because of the wind chill factor. So you know it's gonna be this cold wind outside, and it's just not great. I don't like to have so many clothes on that my arms are propped away from my Maggie Simpson style. I have never worn hats. Wow! Yeah, if you want to keep warm, a hat on is a really good way to do it. Heather says, I always joke that I can always add more layers, but I can only take off so many before it starts becoming illegal. Oh, same. If it's -C outside, -5 C outside, I will go pick up the trash and whatnot in the same clothes I'm wearing inside. I won't stay outside for long, but it's, you know, it's for a quick task. That's perfectly fine. I will put on my hat though. -5 C Swedish picnic weather. Oh man, I wouldn't go on a picnic in the snow. Perhaps if what you're supposed to be eating is cold anyway, that might work fine. Maybe something like sashimi or sushi. That would work as a winter picnic, but for anything that's supposed to be warm, it's gonna be quite a job to keep the stuff warm. I think I'm this tired because it's been a really busy week. Like the video I did took like it's about 2 times to 3 times the length of my usual videos because so many things were weird or went wrong. And then I had all these drawings to do. And I mean, I enjoy all of it, but it still demands more energy to be expended than possibly what I'm used to. I agree, Mallory, that the problem in the summer in, well, Ontario, but I think at least this part of Quebec too, like Montreal, it's the humidity. Like, oh, it's 25 degrees Celsius outside. That's not too bad. And you check at the humidity factor and it becomes like 38. Oh, 6 degrees C. Otto has the best weather, honestly. Whenever it's like the super duper cold here, I poke Otto and I ask like, "Hey, can you cheer me up by telling me how nice the weather is in Scotland?" It is like the worst thing is like it's sort of this reverse psychology here that if you look outside and it's sunny, like you come to a point where you dread the sunny days because you know that if it's sunny, it's gonna be very cold. Because you don't have the cloud cover to keep whatever warmth in. So the prettiest day are also the coldest days. So whenever I wake up and I see super sunny outside, I'm like, ugh. It's best to check to make sure if it's gonna be like that cold. But yeah. In a high rise in Toronto for years without AC. Yep, I would also avoid going home to avoid the misery. When it gets, hey Lee, hi. When it gets like insanely warm in the summer, there has been occasions where I don't know if you guys are what level of familiarity you have with Montreal, but it's a big city. It's kind of dense, but there are parks. There's a few parks in there, and often around the parks you have like high rises or like apartment complex and that kind of stuff. And there has been a couple of instances where it would get so warm that they would allow people to go sleep in the parks because there was no relief to be gotten from sleeping at home. Like it would get so warm and the air would be so stale and not moving that they would be like, okay, fine, we're gonna make an exception. You guys can go take out your sleeping bags, take out your bed sheets, and you can go sleep in the park. So yeah, it's not. Currently 63 Fahrenheit, 17 Celsius. That's lovely. That's great. Great temperature. That's comfy. Like if you get a bit cold, you can put a shirt on or a thin sweater or something. And if you get warm, you can just take it off. That's perfect. It's been raining all day here and super strong winds. I may wake up tomorrow and find I now own trampoline. Is there a lot of red hair in Scotland? I know it's sort of the cliche thing. Like I feel it's just not necessarily just Scotland, but this whole area. Just saying, Aruba is about 27 Celsius, no humidity year round. Ooh. But also the sun exists there. There's no winning. Well, you can walk around with an umbrella. Or stay indoors, but have all the windows open and... It is pretty terrible to live somewhere you cannot acclimate. Indeed. I agree. That sounds really not fun. Hey, Elena. Hi. They have the highest percentage in the world next to Ireland. Oh, cool. I would blend in. As long as I don't talk, I would blend in. I have no idea about red hair. Remember, I don't go. Sorry. Fair point. Fair enough. Why go outside when we can avoid it? Good grief, I need to clip some cat talons. Oh, Heather, same. We keep forgetting. And, hey, Francis, hi. I was playing with Peko the other day, and she's super adorable. Lately, she's really taken to these, you know, the kind of dollar store pet tents that you can buy. They're not that big, and they have, like, basically two arching pieces of metal and some kind of nylon tent in there. And she likes to go in them, and we play with toys on the outside of the tent or under the tent, and she likes to paw at it and try to catch it. And I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but I didn't have a toy, and she was in the tent, and I just gently rubbed, you know, the backdrop of the tent, like just to get her started. And she swatted at it fine, but I forgot that their nails were super sharp, and she swatted at my finger, and it opened quite easily, and I was like, oh, I'm dumb. Darn. That's entirely my fault. Hey, Christella, hi. I'm surprised at the amount of people who have no air conditioning available. We don't, it doesn't usually come with the apartments here, because yeah, we are not quite used yet to the weather being this warm in the summer. Sydney had her talent stream at the vet on Thursday. Oh, she had her rabies shot. Good job, baby girl. Sydney is so cute. How is she growing up? Is she like a small house panther size yet? Or is she still kitten size? Yes, I'm not from the UK, but I have half of my family that's from France. And like the German area. Apparently the red hair comes from that side of the family, but then again, for me to end up with red hair, it had to mean both my parents had the gene. So I guess the other side of my family has some hidden red hair in there too. I love Scout Camp. Yeah, she's not doing much, is she? She has like removed all the fur from her eyebrows and ears. I feel so bad for her, but then again, there's not much we can do. Like, you cannot reason with a cat by telling the cat to stop scratching its face. The cat is just like, I don't care, I don't understand whatever you say, and if it itches, I'm gonna scratch it. I'm like, fair enough. She's grown into a sleek, gorgeous panther girl with a swagger. Aww. You have to send me pictures at some point. Oh, black cats are so gorgeous. especially like a cat that's indoor or well taken care of, their coat gets so shiny. Mallory, do you have siblings? Because sometimes you can sort of figure out the chance of there being a recessive red hair gene in there through the dudes' beards. A lot of guys will have like red hair in their beards. People keep saying like, oh, red hair people are they're gonna be less and less and less, and then there's not gonna be red hair anymore. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Almost everyone has like, I think a lot of people have it as a recessive gene. So I think at some point it's just gonna spurt back up. There's gonna be like this huge boom of red hair. Oh yeah, Ellen, same thing. My grandfather's family was from Alsace. Between France and Germany, exactly. And apparently there were a couple of redheads in there. Hey Dominic, hi. One brother has some auburn in his beard, so there's a chance it's there, the recessive gene. Sorry. The one thing I find possibly the funniest concerning red hair is that you are born with it and it just stays there. You know, sometimes kids, they are born with super platinum blonde hair, and it usually like changes at least a bit throughout growing up. But with most kids with red hair, you are born with the red hair and it kind of stays red forever. It doesn't like change all that much. So I think that's funny. Oh, that's really cool. Otto says that her husband is blonde / ash blonde on the head and very ginger beard. I think that's really funny. Like you can like we have a couple of friends like that too. Like they have hair that is not super red, but then they grow a beard, and you're like, ah, it's there. You cannot hide it. Apparently, people don't understand how recessive genes work. Are you referring to me? Did I miss something up? It was one of my favorite topics when I was having biology class, but it's been a very long while. Well, they do say that every single blue-eyed person descends from a single lady who lived ages ago. Well, we all technically are from the same cluster of people. If you follow the logic of it to a certain extent. So the red hair thing might last for a long time yet. Yeah. Heather says that her hair was white when she was young. Yeah, my brother too had like really, really light hair until he was, I don't know what, 10 or something. Like he was born with like almost, like almost colorless hair. But now he has this sort of light brown / red hair. So it's really... Mr. He has a nephew that also has like super duper light hair. It's always curious to see like at one point if it's gonna change, and if it changes, what it's gonna be after. I'm trying to catch up on chat. My brother has brown eyes, his wife has blue eyes, despite what the averages say, 2 of his 3 daughters. Well, that probably just means that your brother has a recessive gene that is not brown, and the brown took over, but when he had kids, instead of having like brown and blue, there was brown, something else, and blue, so there were more chances of there being blue eyes than brown, if we just go through percentages. He has vowed to never have a... Oh no! People who say red is going away, not you. I'm not going away! I'm not going anywhere! Oh, wow. Oh, that's so kind, Patricia. Thank you. Patricia says that she showed the painting I did of Sydney to the vet and the girls, and they absolutely loved it. Oh, that's so kind. I highly recommend the beard. I'm all for stubble. Not the super short because that's spiky, but I should be painting instead of rambling, but yeah, not the super duper spiky one, but there's a certain length where it becomes soft, and I think it's much easier to care for than no beard or a longer beard. It's like this nice middle ground. Sorry. Has like a hazel green. Yeah. That's really interesting. And then there's us Asians who are guaranteed brown eyes, black hair. Aw. Well, it's lovely. I think it's lovely. Otto, it's thank you, Heather. It's it has a richness to it. I need to start growing a beard, indeed. Want to bet that if I start growing a beard, it's gonna be like black. Just like randomly the wrong color. There are really, I think that like the straight black hair is really interesting too, because the color is lovely, and I don't think there are quite as straight hair. Like, it's a really strong level of straightness in general, and I think that's quite interesting too. Thing is, I think the black hair gene and the brown eye gene are both strong genes, so they will obliterate every other recessive gene that shows up. Blonde hair with grey eyes. That's a lovely mix. That's gorgeous. Oh, I love brown hair too. Brown eyes too. I love brown hair. I really don't have a like, ew, not that. Bleh. But yeah, brown eyes, I find they have such warmth and richness to them. Why there is no other eye color? It's because it's brown. The brown gene for the eyes is the stronger gene. So anything else, like if a blue eye gene shows up green, any other color, it's gonna be less strong. So it's not gonna win the battle for the showcase. To have someone of Asian descent with blue eyes, they would have to be like 1/4, like that their parents, one parent is not Asian and the other parent is half Asian. Then perhaps there's a chance the kid could have blue eyes, but it's not gonna be like the kid might inherit other characteristics as well. That sort of don't make it that obvious. Question for the people who see redheads regularly. I usually see redheads whose hair is more orange, but in video... Oh, really dark red and or brownish. I think that's not real. I don't think I've ever seen anyone... I think the person I've seen with the most orange hair that I'm pretty sure is natural is Rachel from the Rachel and June YouTube channel. She has super long, super bright red hair. I don't think I've ever seen real auburn hair. Oh, you do exist. Fine. Okay. I'm glad. I don't think I've met that many. I met a lot of people that would dye it auburn. And it was a trend at some point, like in the 2000s or in the 90s, to dye one's hair auburn. Okay. So since this cat is a badass, I think I'm gonna make it a calico. Hey Cleo, hi! We are talking about recessive gene, hair color, eye color, and all that jazz. Well, calicos are in the same vein as tortoiseshell, and I think they're quite temperamental, I mean. It's caractériel in French and temperamental in English. They have a lot of character. We have a saying in this house that Scout is 10 pounds of cat, but 10 tons of character. Oh, your mother has all the recessive gene? Do you mean she have them, like, since she has all of them, they're the one that are showing up? That's interesting. Auburn hair, green and hazel eyes, bleh, attached earlobe, and no arm or leg hair. Oh man, that's fortunate. I'm bummed that I didn't quite get that one. Hey Monica, hi. Ooh, that's really cool, Heather. My tortie was basically insane. Yep. Well, you see mine here. She's a nutcase. She's not a nutcase. She's a, what's the word I'm looking for? She's a handful. What brain? Come on. Fair red hair, light-eyed. Oh man. I think my mom did something really similar, Cleo. She always told me like, "Oh, you don't need to shave your legs. You're not." And the thing is that even if my that TMI, I don't care. My body hair is generally blonde, so it, like, if you look at my arm, it's not gonna show. Like, you might not see it unless it's in. You're gonna see all my bumps, but dry skin is a problem. But yeah, like, you don't really see much of anything there, but in the proper light, it's there. It's definitely there. And she would always tell me, "Oh, you don't need to shave your legs and all that." And I was like, well, if my mom says it, then that's gotta be It's gotta be what I have to do, right? But yeah, it was not a super great moment because the hair is still there, and in sunlight it shows a lot. So yeah, that was a bit of a very self-conscious moment of going like, yep, that's not gonna work. But yeah, my mom has like almost no hair on her arms and legs. And she has light-ish hair and blue eyes too, so darn. Your last tortie was domesticated turned feral. She was a ball of fun and very tame trained once we were done with her. It is a tortie thing. At some point when we went to the vet with Scout because she wasn't feeling so good, she was a handful there. And the vet technician saw her and was like, oh, it's a tortie. Yeah, okay. Tortie are temperamental. Like, they sort of knew what to expect just by seeing her. And I was like, is that a thing? And she said, yeah, kind of. Oh, same, Mallory. For me, it was a dude who at some point noticed and went like, whoa, you're hairy. And I was like, shut up. What do you care? You're hairy, shut up. But yeah, I kind of took a stance of assessing for myself how I feel about it rather than following what other people would tell me about it, like what I should do. And I found my middle ground and decided to follow that. Torties don't do anything by coercion. If they don't wanna, they don't. Oh yeah. We have another thing. I don't know if you guys do that, but you have cats and you sort of give them a voice and you make them say stupid things. We always do that with the cats, and with Scout, one that comes back really often is it's in French, but it's basically translates to saying that she's the one who decides. She decides thing. We don't get to decide anything. I don't have a tortie or calico, but my aunt's tortie was super sweet. Aww. Heather, our resident cat specialist, says calicos are indeed very cool genetically. It is an example of codominance. The size and clarity of the spots is influenced by the piebald, if I say that right. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure I've always mentioned this, but to end up with a female cat that's orange, like Peko, the mom has to be a calico or a tortie, and the dad has to be an orange cat. Otherwise, you cannot really end up with female orange cats, which I think is quite cool. Quinn's thing is that she always wants to be cuddled. Aww. So yeah, in the case of my cats, we are fairly sure that we know their mom was a calico. We saw the mom. She was a semi-long hair calico. And because Beko is one of our kids, we can sort of guess that the dad was probably some sort of orange cat. Which is, interesting. You never know what kind of coats you're gonna get on kittens. Like, you can see the mom for sure, but the dad is never or almost never in the picture. So it's always a surprise to figure out from the kids what the dad was. Hey Mikey, hi. Poor Sydney, I had to sedate her to get... Oh no. Oh no. I wouldn't think she'd be that... Do you keep the carrier around like just as part of furniture, like something that's always present around, or do you take it out only when she has to go to the vet? So Heather says no piebald gene equals tortie. High expression piebald equals calico with few large spots with clear border. Oh, so that's sort of the element that decides whether the coat is gonna be super messy, super like as whatever as the tortie is, and if they have the piebald thing, it's gonna be really separate spots. That's interesting. I didn't know that. That's a really lousy thing to do. But yeah, to get an orange female tabby, I think to some extent either the mom has to be an orange tabby and the dad too, or the mom has to be a calico or a tortie and the dad an orange tabby. If you look at Scout really closely, in her larger spots, like the one on her head, you can see that she has a tabby pattern in there. It's just that it doesn't show because it's lost in all the colors. I've only heard of the word piebald in reference to horses before. So I guess, is that the same kind of expression in horses, to have a main coat color with spots? Is that what would be called a piebald horse? Or is it piebald? Only for vet trips. Yeah, I think, well, if you're afraid she'll pee in it, just leave it around, unless it's one of those like fabric carriers. But if it's a plastic carrier that's easy to clean up, I would leave it around. That's what we do. That's a very good question. But yeah, that's what we do. We leave both carriers we have, they are always around, they are always open. And the cats, they kind of play in them at times, or they will go in them just because. And I think if you leave the carrier around as something that she can explore on her own terms, she might get more comfortable with it. Is it really rare to have an orange tabby? Not for a male cat, but for a female cat, it's a bit more difficult. Female cat that was completely... Oh, marmalade! Like Cole and Marm and Zigzag and Jug. I cannot believe that Cole and Marmalade's dad got 2 torties. Not just 1, 2. I'm like, dude, that's it's high level commitment there. It is piebald, okay. A spot pattern. Huh. Mine doesn't really have a lid. It has the grid in the front, so we just keep the thing open. Like we make sure it's not closed or they cannot like stay stuck in there. But since I'm home sort of all the time, I can check up on it. And the first one we bought was large enough for 2 cats, but like I mentioned, that was not the best. And we have a smaller one, and Pickle really likes to go in the smaller one. She kind of looked like a snail when she's in there, because she has like her house on her back and there's only her head coming out, and it's really cute. But yeah, she will go in there just to go in it. I think that it makes her feel safe because she only has one side to worry about. Like nothing can come bother her from the top, nothing can come bother her from all the other sides except the front. So she likes to chill in there. Do you like Game of Thrones? Not quite. I read the books. Ball python. Whoa. Hey, I'm me. Hi. I am learning something new from this live stream every time. Well, I'm glad. We always have like really different topics. Your cat Bo is orange and white, but if you look closely, he actually has black hairs in his coat. Oh, that's curious. Yeah, I mean, it's still gonna be difficult to get the cats in there forcibly, but it might take like 1 or 2 tries rather than 5 with a towel on, if you know what I mean. Like, same, like, it's just that they're not afraid of it. Like, when there's not this feeling of when we take the carriers out, it means bad news for them. It's when we try to force them in the carriers that they're a bit more confused, but we could probably just throw kibble in there and they would go in there and we close the door. So yeah, you... With horses, I want to say there are other coat patterns genes that can have white. I probably that Heather can perhaps add more accurate info on that, but I was watching those, you know, the big cat channels on YouTube. There's quite a few of them. They're quite good too. And they were saying basically that when you have something like a white caracal or a white tiger or any kind of white big cat, it's not a normal outcome of it. It's usually through inbreeding, so it's not a good thing. Like, these animals are sometimes prized because they are white, but it's not a good factor. It doesn't mean good thing for the cat. Monica says, we met a misty gray and orange turkey calico cat, and she was the sweetest stray. Aww. What do you call them when they have, like, definitely, like, spots, but in the spots it's like turkey, like it's calico, but inside her spots it's all jumbled? The piebald. I think the first time I saw piebald was in reference to horses, but I was just like, I guess that's a horse pattern. Oh. Yeah, I read the books. The last one I read, I think, was the last Game of Thrones book that came out. That's 1,000 pages, and that's the one that was the nail in the coffin for me, because it's a huge freaking book, and I finished reading it, and I had this feeling that I had read a lot of words, but they didn't make much happen. And I was fed up at that point, and I was like, nope, I'm done. Oh no! Okuni says they are breeding strange mutations into pet pythons too, and it gives them neurological damage. They wobble. Oh yeah, a Thorby. A Torby, that's... Wow. Wow! My brain. Sorry to go off topic, but I'm really impressed with the brush control. Wow, such perfect lines. Oh, this is a synthetic brush from Recollet. It's really nothing unique, except maybe for the color, but if you have a good synthetic, like nylon Taclon brush, it's just working on a dry paper and being careful is the way to have clean lines, in my opinion. I think with Game of Thrones, he's not quite sure where he wants to take it, And it takes so much time before he can get around to certain elements that he has changed his mind when he gets there. But the stuff he wrote before is still there, so the new ideas with the older stuff, I think it's kind of a mess. That's my tinfoil hat spin on it, but that's kind of the feeling I got from reading the books. And I tried watching the show, but since I had read the books, I really got stuck in the fact that it's so much different, and I was like, ugh. And like half the casting was bothering me, and half the casting was good, and I was like, I have other things to do. Bye. That's often my my caveat. Like, if a show is not that fun, and I'm like distracted while watching it, and I think that I have other things to do, I know it's a show I have to drop. So yeah, with Game of Thrones I was like, ugh. Oh, thank you, Cleo. Yeah, I'm being super careful with these because they are, I'm gonna send these out, so I want them to be not my usual mess of, you know, painting outside the lines and just being clumsy, says I, as I make a huge bloom on this painting. Yep, that's on point. Is that gonna look like a shine, or is it gonna look like he has some issues with his pants? No, it's not too bad. Or she. It's a calico, so it's a she. Hey, Kirsten, hi. Have we talked about the latest video on Memory Blue? Not exactly. What do you mean? He's old now and has 2 books left to write. Well, if they... I mean... As someone who really likes Dune and never really got the ending that Dune deserved, I'm just like... Well, if it happens, it happens. There's not much we can do. Like, I'm sort of angry that Dune got such a weird, nonsensical, badly written ending. And F. Bloom. There are acid wash pants. Oh man, can you imagine? Super night, and they have like one of these fleece neon sweater from the 90s and acid wash jeans, and they fight with that. That's hilarious. Oh, Dune did a weird turn and ended up in the wall, and oh, man, it bummed me out, possibly even more than Mass Effect 3. For those people who might not exactly have context on Dune, first book and subsequent, I think 5 books, maybe 6. I never can remember the proper number. I don't know why. But the author who wrote the Dune originally is Frank Herbert. And unfortunately, he passed before he could finish writing every book he had planned in this universe, in the Dune series. I say Dune, yeah. D-U-N-E. Not Dune. And there was a big period of time where there was just nothing written about Dune because, I mean, the dude was dead, so what can you do? Thing is he left a lot of notes. And eventually his son, Brian Herbert, decided to take his father's notes and try to continue writing Dune. So he decided to work along with writer Kevin J. Anderson. And they took the notes and they wrote a zillion other books. They started, instead of starting with books that would continue where Frank the original writer had left off, they went back and wrote many prequels to sort of give context to a bunch of elements that would possibly be relevant in the actual end of the original book. So I don't know if you can sort of imagine what I'm kind of trying to explain. It's really, I can do a diagram if it gets too weird. But the way Kevin J. Anderson writes is possibly as far as Frank Herbert's writing as can be. Really not the same deal. And when I got into Dune, it took me 2 tries before I was swallowed up by Dune, and I read like all the original books, and then I was like, there's nothing else. And at that point, the prequels that, you know, started coming out. So my boyfriend really likes Dune as well. He was like, hey, you can read these books that I have that are the prequels. And I started reading them. And I was like, it's entertaining, but it's kind of not the same thing. But I'm entertained. I'm going to keep reading them. But the more it went on, the less entertaining it got. And it kept going like that, like in a decreasing level of enjoyment, until we get to the final books they ended up writing to finish what the original writer had started, like the chronological follow-up to the original books. And they are so bad. They are so bad. It's I was in shock, I think. I couldn't believe I was reading that, because you expect a level of intelligence and like a tone to the writing of the thing, because you are used to this tone in the original books, and it is so different in the stuff they wrote. And it made me feel so stupid, because you could figure out everything in advance, while the original books by Frank Herbert, they are like amazing, because you cannot do that. Like, you read them and it's really absorbing, I find. Like, I got into them, even if they talk about like some elements of politics and all that, you're in it really deep. It's weird. But wow, the follow-up, man, I kept screaming at my book. Like, for half the book, they keep ignoring the most obvious thing that could be the cause of their current predicament, and I kept yelling at them, but that happened, and they were like, what is the problem? And at the end of the book, they're like, oh, this is the problem. And I was like, yeah. Dune broke me. Oh, that's true. I broke myself really bad last week. It's at the beginning of the stream if you ever want to catch that up, Heather. The miniseries version of Dune is kind of incoherent, but every frame is gorgeous. I need to check that again. It's been a while. Regarding the Memory Blue, I think your review was fair, and their pans really are tiny. I was wondering about the pans, if I remove the extruded cake, how much empty space there's gonna be under the extruded cake, because the cake really goes above the rim of the pan. Like, a lot. But I wonder if it does that because it's too big for the small pans. They could fix it so easily just by having bigger pans. What the heck? Sorry, I need to drink something. Dune diminishing returns. Oh man, that says it all. That absolutely says it all. Oh no. Oh no. That was like P.D. James trying to write a sequel to Pride and Prejudice. But why? I'm distracted by which... Yeah, kitty grooming. It's important to be clean. Yeah, I meant to say that, of course, Peko is cleaning her butt in the last stream, because Peko was the cat cam. But I had an eye on the chat, and I saw Otto's name at the same time I was talking, and I said, Otto is cleaning her butt. And then I just couldn't stop laughing because that's so silly. I'm sorry that this happened to Dune. I really feel the pain. I'll be forever sad that Douglas Adams was... Oh, yeah. There are so many... I mean... I think the most recent one was Terry Pratchett. Like, what the terrible thing. But yeah, I mean, Frank Herbert, Douglas Adams, Terry Pratchett, it's all such a unique level of writing that anyone who tries to write in the same mind space, it never works. I read a lot of people have done that with Sherlock Holmes, and it hurts my brain so bad every time. Like, everyone tries to make something more or something different of Sherlock than he is, and I just nope. I nope out of it right away. Douglas Adams, how old was he? Or how young was he? My mom calls that vanilla, like the storyline must be spoon-fed to the reader. Your mom is a writer, right? Oh, Pratchett was he was how can I say this? He was a spark of magic, because you read his stuff and it's engaging, it's entertaining, and you have a great time, and it engages you, makes you think, but not in a way that's heavy or like it was so good. 49, oh crud. I keep breaking myself in that stream. Oh. Yeah. Well, Terry Pratchett knew what was happening, so I think he was able to find ways to make the best of it. Oh, okay. Let's talk about something else then. I'm sorry, Kirstine. But yeah, I mean, it's a level of writing that you don't really find anywhere else. And I mean, it doesn't have to be these guys. It can be like, same for Pride and Prejudice and all of that. And it's just always a bummer when they try to continue to work. Or, I mean, adaptations about Sherlock Holmes are the same mess for me. I'm like, did you even read a story from a Sherlock Holmes book before you made this awful movie? Did you? Did you really? Oh, she's a writer. Well, yeah, I agree with her. Being spoon-fed the stuff is no. Just no. Surprise me. That's more interesting. Surprise me with something rather than... They often have that issue with procedural TV shows. Like, a lot of things happen and then the ending is sort of a surprise, but you're like, it's a surprise because I was missing all the information to figure it out, you know. That's not necessarily good writing. That's just like I'm on a deadline writing and I need to do something quick. Speaking of writing and the general thing, you guys probably know that I you guys know I work in the animation industry, like the TV animation kind of deal. And a big part of any TV show is the writing. But even for cartoons, it is like, it doesn't have to be live action to have writing. Like, animated TV shows need some writing as well. And I'm very difficult in terms of what I like writing wise. I'm not saying it's justified, because I don't think I'm a particularly good writer or anything, but there are things I like and then there are things I don't like, and I'm very aware of what they are. And all that to say that we recently started watching a show on Netflix that's an animated show. It is intended for kids, but you did not know that? What? Wait, what did you know? Didn't you know? But yeah, and I started watching Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and I don't think I've had this much fun in years. Honestly, it is so silly. It is like, I'm genuinely laughing. It's funny. It's hilarious. The animation is great. They do every kind of stupid like shenanigans in the background. It's a great show, and it's light. You know, sometimes you're like, I've had a full day of work and I don't really feel like listening to a big drama show. Well, you can just plop on some kind of animated TV show and enjoy it. And if you are interested in, if you are not, how can I explain this? Some people are sort of in this mindset that animated shows are not fun. But well, if you don't have that mindset and you are open to watching an animated show and you spot this one on Netflix, I would recommend giving it a try. I laughed so much during the first episode. It's not like it's really funny, and it's made to be funny. It's not made to be dark or angsty, even if, like, technically, if you think on the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the live actions, they were kind of angsty at times and all of that. But that's not this show. It is absolutely awesome. And yeah, I was really happy with the writing, because it feels like they had a team that was well synced. And sometimes when I worked on certain productions, there will be like a lack of synchronicity between the different parts of the production. Like, you have the producer, you have the directors, you have the writers on one side, and you have all the people who do the pre-production pipeline stuff, and then you have the animators, and then you have the people who do all the export and the effects and all of that. So it's a big like team, and on many productions, sometimes like the writer have this idea that what they want to do is not necessarily what the director wants, which is not necessarily what the producer thinks he's gonna get, which is, you know, it's like nothing is in sync. So you get a product that has problems. But I don't feel like that with it's Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Which is not something I thought I was gonna say. Mr. E kept prodding me. He was like, hey, we should watch this. And I was like, nah. I don't really have any involvement with the TMNT. Like, but he watched the first episode and he was like, Ev, you really have to watch this. And I was like, you really have to watch this. And I thought, okay. And I loved it. I just loved it. The most deeply moving, complex, emotional, gripping storytelling with complex moral and social resonance that I have experienced is, and maybe ever, turns out to be a video game. I think me too. Maybe not the same, but yeah, in terms of being immersed in something and really involved, it was not on... It was like a video game, because literally you are so involved that your actions have consequences. And yeah, Rise of the TMNT is on Netflix, at least in Canada. I hope in the US as well. I hope everywhere, because it's really, really fun. It's a kind of a feel-good thing to watch. Okuni says animation is like the Sistine Chapel. You need a strong director, God, and saints. I have a video game and an animated series to consume. I hope you will enjoy both. I haven't played any of the Red Dead Redemption games. I saw the videos about the bugs though, and I really laughed because it's sort of its own its own realm of what? It's not in Denmark. Ah, bummer. But keep an eye out for it. Perhaps it will get there. But oh my gosh, yeah. And as someone who, like, of course, if I ended up working in animation, it means that I kind of always loved it. So, it was so refreshing to see a show that has like genuinely funny animation, and you feel like the people working on the show had a great time doing it, and that shows. And there are a couple of things that I was able to pick up on because in the way it's made. It's so, it feels so smooth that you're like, wait, it doesn't look like they had problem with this part of the process or this connection there that between this group and this group. And the only thing I've seen so far that I was like, why did they do that? Is that there's a chance the episodes are not necessarily in the right order. But that's it. Which is all in all not a big problem, you know? I'll stop rambling about turtles, but yeah, good show, good stuff. And funny tidbit, like you see that in the first episode, so it's not a spoiler, but the main bad guy is voiced by John Cena, and that made me laugh. I don't know why, it just made me laugh. I was like, awesome? What? The most recent series I'm watching is Tangled. I think I follow a person who worked on it on Twitter, and I think it's got a really good reception. Oh, yeah, Lisa. I don't think I said hi. Hi, Lisa. Yeah, same. No connection to TMNT, but if you like funny stuff and like visual gag and silly things, there's a good chance you'll like it as well. It's a bit like the kind of humor you get in the first season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You know, this kind of bordering on absurd thing at time. But like, anyway, it's hard to explain, but it's funny. And for once, they have the turtles act as actual teenagers. Instead of like, well, younger teenagers, I should say. Like, they're not the more angsty, emo kind of. Although, to be honest, regarding writing, I have to admit I'd much rather have a story that writes a predictable... Oh, yeah. Oh, I agree. A story that writes a predictable plot well than a story with a big twist that's only there for shock value. And that doesn't work in the end, I agree. Some of my favorite movies are movies that are absolutely not shocking. Like, not one bit, but everything else is done so well that you still get into the story. I'm like, it's really difficult to do this big shocking thing well because humans are so diversified and different that you cannot find a universal shock for everyone. You're gonna find something and some people are gonna be bored with it and some people are gonna be shocked with it, and rather than trying to maximize the shock in I have the word in French in my head but not the word in English, in spite of rather than doing the story good, if you focus more on creating a big shock, it's not, people are not going to remember it as much. They might remember the big shock, but nothing else, which is kind of sad. Always just like Splinter. Yeah. Oh, Splinter in the Rise of TMNT show is a... It's not because he's like the father figure that they made him any less silly than the Turtles. What's your guys' favorite game? If you play games. Or what's the best experience you've had in a game if you used to play games? It can be Tetris. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything like fancy. I'm just curious. Yeah, I figured Red Dead Redemption 2. Do you get to create your own main character in that game? I think the first one you don't really get to choose. You just get like, this is your character and there you go. But I haven't heard, I don't think... Yeah, the thing is, with the first one, Mr. E played it, so I caught glimpses of it. But he didn't play the second one. I don't play games, but I used to do 3D while being in Second Life. Oh, interesting. Used to play WoW. Oh yeah, WoW. Figured that's gonna be a... Oh my gosh, no! Cleo says, a guy friend of mine has a big surround sound gaming setup, and trying to play Doom there was so terrifying I could only play on God mode. Oh. Tetris is a good game. Back when I did play Monkey Island 1, 2, and 3. Oh, the third one! The third one is gorgeous. I think the third Monkey Island is one of the things that made me really love animation in general. Oh man. You can choose your character if you're doing online multiplayer. Meh. In Red Dead Redemption 2, you determine his look, his horse, and his entire moral system and choices. And oh wow. Wow. Francis says, I really like games with a somewhat linear story and plenty of companion characters. I'm with you there. I'm at the point where the game I play most often was Guild Wars 2, but it's really not the same kind of attachment that you get to a more linear game, where you really get to experience the story fully. I'm playing Witcher 1 right now. It's okay, but the combat system is wonky. I've heard that Witcher 1 is possibly not the best of the series. Like, people really got into it with the second and third games, apparently. In Red Dead Redemption 2, there's a place where you have to skirt a cliff to get to the thing. Oh, whoa, and I have a problem with heights and couldn't do that mission. Woo. Wow. What color am I? Oh, pink. Pink? Pink. Oh, pink. I was like, where was I going with this color? But I want to add something on the scar there. Hey, Wendy! Hi! Welcome! Welcome, welcome! Third Monkey Island was so beautiful, yes. I'm glad you know of it. Not many people know of it anymore. It was, oh man, the backgrounds in there and all the character designs and everything. I love it. Hey, welcome back, Otto. San says that they want to play all the games in the chronological order first, and I'm with you there. I was able to grab the Witcher games. They were on super big discount recently, and they were like bundled up, and I was like, oh, okay, that's worth it. But yeah, I was like, but I cannot just grab the second and third one. Like, what if the stuff in the first one is relevant? Though, as someone who's played the three Mass Effect games, I would definitely recommend people play the first one, the second one, and just pretend the third one doesn't exist. And don't play it. Just not worth it. So not worth it. People keep telling me, like, yeah, but the fighting system in Mass Effect 3 is great. And I'm like, sure, fine, it is. What about everything else, though? Carbuncle. Oh, Final 8. Oh, yeah. I played it. This is the first Final Fantasy game I played and the only one I finished. It sort of used up all the interest I had allocated in my person for Final Fantasy. It all went through that game and then I was done. I played a bit of the 7th and the 9th and I was like, but I did like absolutely complete the Final 8. I maxed everyone, I did all the things. Like, I put so many hours in that just grinding to get the characters as high as I could, but after that I was done. That's the only JRPG that I really went into and played. I don't know why. It's weird. Getting a walkthrough for which one? Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I don't have much time for games anyway, so I think it might be a while before I get to it, but I'm just glad it's there. I don't know why. It's comforting, I guess. In the end, my brother treated me to a rare holographic cover version of the guidebook to the game. Oh, nice. I don't know what kind of luck that was, but at the time where I played Final 8, I went to a absolutely random used game store, like unrelated to nothing, and for some weird reason there they had the Final Fantasy 9 art book for like $30, and I was like, huh, I'm gonna buy that. I'm not sure what it's about, but I know like the art is pretty and my friends are into this stuff, so I guess it can sort of help all of us get better at drawing. And yeah, I think it's the book that I don't use it a lot, but I know Mr. E is just like really, really using this book often. Probably the one book I bought that turned out to be the most useful, all in all. I kind of want to play Final Fantasy, but I don't even know where to start. That's a very valid point. Like, where do you start? If you ask some people, they're gonna tell you, oh, start with the very old games that have been redone, where like Final Fantasy 6 in Japan is the third here or something whatnot. And other people are gonna tell you to start with one of the most recent one. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, thank you for being here, Okuni. Have a great weekend. Do you guys remember when games came on like floppy disks? And you would get like 10 floppy disks to insert one after the other to install the game. That was fun. Or like WoW that originally came with like 8 CDs. Took forever to install. I did a big cleanup recently of the what I call the technology bin. Like it's a bin where we put all the old technology stuff. And there was a bunch of floppy disks, the 3 1/4, I think. Like the smaller ones of the floppies. And we have an external floppy disk drive, so I was like, huh, I'm just gonna go through the stack and check what's on them. Just for fun. Or, I don't know, pain. And made me laugh because I found like 1 or 2 games in there, but like 1 disc out of the 5 it would need, and you would have this sticker on it like a Jedi Academy, or no, I think Jedi Academy is too fancy for that, but like TIE Fighter whatever game, and it's like disc 1 of 7. It has the sticker with the LucasArts logo on it and all of that, and I was like, oh man, I kept that one. I was like, it might make for a nice, you know, like coaster or something, or like that one is special. It has like the game sticker on it, but yeah, that brought me back. Oh, I'm glad you guys remember. All my discs were in a container for discs, and it made me, I don't know if I remember correctly, but it gave me this memory of having, like, the main usefulness of having a box like that to sort out your floppy disk was that if you are required by any game at any moment to insert a new disc, it's you know, it's sorted and it's there. You don't have to dig around the drawer for it. And yeah, I repurposed the box to hold miniature, like the small demo pads that Stonehenge has, you know, the tiny ones. I put all my mini paper pads in there, but yeah, I had this memory of, you know, flopping the top and looking, tick 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 tick, oh, disc 3, and then you insert disc 3, you pop up disc 2, you put disc 3, and the thing continues. I was like, oh, what? It has evolved. I don't think there's a proper word to suggest how much things have changed in not that much time, you know. What, 15, 20 years? I'm a bit bummed I didn't find a 5.5 floppy though. I don't know of anything that could still read those, but they were so silly. Like this big plastic floppy thing. Such a terrible way to store anything if you think on it, because it's really easy to get dust or sand or a drink in there. Like if you drop some kind of drink on a CD, you just carefully clean it up and you're fine, but if you drop something liquid on a floppy, it's... Sonic the Hedgehog was a fun game. Oh, text game like NetHack? And then Nintendo 64 came out, and that was a big thing. Like, Ocarina of Time was such a shock. I agree. Mallory says, I still remember floppy disks in school. It really doesn't seem that long ago. Exactly. Or the software with the turtle where you would enter command like rotate 90 degrees, advance, and you would like trace things with the turtle. I hated it. I was like, this is so boring. Remember when floppy disks came in paper casing? Oh yes! Why was that ever good? I think it came from vinyls. I think people were like, well, we put vinyls in paper casing, let's put floppy in them too. I remember the smaller floppies came in. Sometimes they had just a plastic sleeve over them, which is marginally better. Ocarina of Time was and is one of the best games ever. I absolutely agree. Played it so much, so much. Like you would just go as a kid, be like, hey, you know what? I feel like doing a second playthrough of this game. Let's do it, and just do it. And it was fun, and there was always something entertaining to do in it. There was never like dreadful grind. I mean, you had to grind certain things, but they would give you a reward not that far off, you know. And it wasn't too big. I remember the holders for multiple floppy disk. It was a box with a clear plastic. Yeah, I still have mine. The lid sort of opens up and. And you know the big 5.5, I think, ones that you would push in, and sometimes you had to like remove this sort of thingy to hold the disc in place. or another thing that dates a bit is the turbo button on computers, where they would go from like 33 hertz to 66 hertz, and you would be like, whoa, turbo! Pong was groundbreaking. It is. It was. I mean, it was very simple, but that doesn't make it any less impactful. Can anyone hit the note of when the glow? Navi, the fairy. Hey. That was the only like dialogue in the whole game. It was her going, hey, all the time. Another thing that I really loved of Ocarina of Time, and that had somewhat of an impact on me, as a developing artist, was the what's the French word? What's the English word for it? But you know, the booklet that came with the game. It had artwork in it, like drawings of Link and Navi and all of that, and it was at a time when, you know, internet was not. I don't think I had as much access to internet as we do now. So having a printed version of these little drawings was something that I would look at often and just feel like the drawings were so awesome. They were so professional. They looked so good. And it made me want to draw and get better at drawing. Hey, Carolyn, hi. Oh, I need more tea. Hey, Eagle, hi. Oh, hey, thank you for being here. Help, Chaos has the zoomies. Oh no! Oh no! We need to find you like a small little shield and a foam, perhaps a piece of foam noodle, you know, the things to float in a pool to defend yourself against chaos. Okay. It's one of my favorite things that in the world that Chaos and Linus are so similar and came around at like the same time. And it kind of makes me happy. Like both are orange and white are orange kitties, and they are super energetic and crazy, and they do a lot of really fun stuff. And it, you know, makes me happy to think about cats in general, so there's that. Ouf, écoute, ça a bien l'air difficile la vie. Oh boy, hein? Grosse vie difficile de chat. That's a very good question, Lise. I want to know too. Lise says to Heather, yes, Heather, but was he in the toilet before the zoomies is what I need to know. Was he in the toilet before, or will he go in the toilet after? It's really important stuff. my finger in it. All right. He does the funniest thing where he comes from behind me, stands up, and hooks his front paw. Aww. Aww. What a cute kiddo. Alright, I need to also switch around. What I'm painting... Oh yeah, you weren't there at the beginning. Oops. I'm painting the Patreon rewards I need to send out. I have about 10 paintings to do, and it took me some time to figure it out, but I decided to draw Mages of the Paw, which are the order of cat mages in our comic book that Mr. E and I do. And yeah, thought that was really fun, and it gave me enough ideas to paint all 10 of them. Well, draw, and now I'm currently painting them. Hey, bye Wendy, have a great weekend. Not a post-poopy zoomy session, it might be a pre-poopy. My cats have the pre one, not the post one. Like they really get the zoomies, and then it's quiet for like 30 seconds, and then we hear a noise in the litter box. So, yeah. So yeah, I would use any of the books I have from this photographer, Mr. Hans Sylvester, but this one is the smallest one I have, and it fits well on my desk. So I'm just using it to get reference on cat coats and paint something a bit different than what I usually do. That's a really beautiful tabby pattern. It's so dark. If you have a spotted tabby. Oh, oh, tiny, tiny baby. Want to name my next cat Crikey. Linus, Bruiser, and Chaos. Yeah, they are all like, if it was Twitter, like crazy orange cat would be trending. Because you got Bruiser, and then I found Linus, and then you found Chaos. And all three of them are like orange boys with a lot of energy and really funny quirks. Oh, that's a gorgeous cat. Hold on. Can I find him again? Oh, darn it, come on. Well, I could say that of every cat too. What a pretty cat! Oh, what another pretty cat! Oh, and yet another pretty cat! And did I mention this pretty cat? Man, I love cats. Cats are great. Cats are awesome. Oh man, a fully black cat with white whiskers. That's really special. I think it's well, it seems to be one photo per day. October. But it's not necessarily advertised as a year of cat. Like, I didn't notice first. It's just a world of cats in French. Un monde de chats. All four of my orange boys are super lovable. Do you have as many orange boys as you have torties? Hey, welcome back, Otto. Well, it depends. Hey, Kelly, hi. Crystal goes during your post poopies. Oh yeah. Oh yes, that's the same. Heather mentions the hilarious scratch, scratch, scratch sound effects when cats with claws try to turn when they run super speed, but on anything that's not carpet, they have zero grip. So all you have is the claws like scratching while the cat drifts, and eventually they bank enough that they can turn. But yeah, we have the same thing here, and it's always funny when like you're being quiet, you're doing your thing, and you hear wow, wow, skit, 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 and you know like, oh, someone is having zoomies. That happens a lot when we go to bed because, as you know, cats are tend to be active at night time a bit more, or in the evening. But the cats here, they sleep most of the evening until we go to bed, and that's usually when they sort of get a bit more energy sometimes. And it's really funny because sometimes it's super quiet, everyone is like asleep, and all we hear is wow and like cat activity, and it's really, really funny. And last night was a bit sad because we heard like commotion or whatnot, and they were fighting, and Pickle hates it. Pickle can't stand Scout to save her life. Like, she really has no patience for her sister. And Scout is a really like persistent fighting companion. So when she bites, she holds on. And yeah, and Pickle wasn't happy, and she was like yowling and hissing at Scout. And you were like, oh, poor Pickle. Yeah, they're crepuscular, yeah. But sometimes their crepuscular period shifts a bit, like it's very beginning of the night rather than actual. And in the morning, they're not that energetic either. Evening rolls around and our orange boy does caterwauling too. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for being here, Christella. Have a good night. Mallory says, my cat gets random bursts of crazy energy. He runs up and down the house suddenly and then goes back to napping. I think that's very normal in terms of the way cats are set up in the wild. There's a reason why the cats spend like 16 hours per day sleeping or catnapping. They save up their energy, and that allows them to give out bursts of it to hunt, and then feed, and then sleep again. So yeah, even indoor cats that don't have to hunt, they get this sort of crazy zoomy moment where they have to burn energy and run around and chase things, and then they collapse. And they go to bed and they're like, I'm tired. I keep making old people voice for my cats, but they're getting old. They're gonna be 9 years old soon. Can't believe it's been 9 years. Oh, ladies. Yeah, cats are crepuscular. I don't know how you say that. Crepuscule. Most active at dawn and dusk. Though mine are not really all that. Like, they sleep in the morning, they sleep in the afternoon, wake up at lunch. They wake up around food. Who's surprised? Not me. Only middle-aged. We still make old lady jokes about them because they're getting old enough that their behaviors are starting to change towards more senior cat behaviors. Like they don't necessarily wake us up as early as before, and they enjoy their sleep a bit more, and they don't really want to be bothered all that much. Aw, that's cute, Tsukabu. Tsukabu says, my puppy Callisto just dragged the kitty tunnel all the way from the fireplace to the cat tree so the kitty could play with them too. Dogs are really sweet. It's really interesting to see the difference in behavior in general behavior between cats and dogs. How much do your girls... My cats, Scout is the lightest of the two. She's just a bit under 10 pounds. And last time I weighed Pico, she was just a bit over 10 pounds. But they are really, their physiognomy is really different. I wouldn't have thought because they're sisters, but they're really not shaped the same way. And it's really peculiar. Like, Peko has... It's gonna be hard to explain. Can you guys see my post-it? So let's presume that you're watching the cats from above. Like, they're walking and you are much taller because you're human, and you check the cat from above. And this is the head. And Scout is generally like really lean. She has this, you know, the dip a bit before the hip, but she's so furry that it really doesn't show if she's just like that. But when you pet her, you can feel like lean, slight dip, lean, and Peko is a bit different. She's more barrel-chested. She still has the dip, like that, but she doesn't appear to be as lean as a Scout. She really has this extra volume in her torso. So that's why we think that she's a tiny bit more heavy. I think for female cats, around 9 to 10 pounds is a good weight. Sydney weighed in at just over 10 pounds, and the vet said time to watch her weight. Yeah, she shouldn't go much above that. Especially, Sydney looks like a really athletic, like not lean. Yeah, lean cat. Like she doesn't feel like one of those Maine Coon, like a big stocky cat. She looks really like a lean panther. Scout is also on the model of the lean panther. Yeah, Pickle looks like a peanut. That's what we call her sometime. Peanut. Aww. Which is also the proper color for peanut. One is addicted to turkey. Oh, that's really cute. Carolyn says that their cats are also around 9 to 10 years old, both rescues. And that one is addicted to turkey lunch meat and strangely gets the zoomies after she has some. That's really funny. There was one time before we decided to change the way we feed the cats. We went to the vet, and the both cats were about 12 pounds, around that. And yeah, the vet remarked that that's too much. you gotta be careful about that, because they shouldn't really go like for their shape, for their bone structure, they really shouldn't go that much over 10 pounds. So we changed a bit how we feed them, which is possibly more annoying for us, but it works better for them in the end. Roasted peanut pickle. Aww. She's delicate and yeah. She loves her food, so I have to learn some discipline. Yeah, it's the humans who end up paying in sleep and time and effort over that. Though I gotta say, it's the first time, not that I've had a lot of cats, but it's the first time I have cats that are not overweight. Like as a kid, I was not really in charge of setting up how we feed them, so like I couldn't really figure it out what to give them in terms, well, to the cats I had as a kid, like how much to feed them, what to feed them, and all of that. But now that me and Mr. E are the adults responsible for these cats, I'm a bit more careful about how much we feed them, how we feed them, what we feed them, and all of that. How do I feed them now? Oh man, I'm not saying that was a great idea, but I'm pretty sure I've talked a bit about it before, in the sense that, you know, Scout has chicken allergies, and it took us some time to figure out. So at first I thought she would be sick all the time because she would eat too much. So we decided to spread out their meals into many meals a day, but much smaller meals. And they kind of kept that habit even now that we've figured out that she was sick because she was allergic to chicken, not because she ate too much. But basically, except for the cat food, in terms of wet cat food, they get, you know, the small cans. Each cat gets half a can a day. So they get 1 quarter in the morning and one... No, wait, it's no longer in the morning. They get 1 quarter around dinner time, and they get the other quarter before we go to bed. And the rest of the day they get kibble, and I portion out the kibble using a spoon, like a plastic spoon. and I don't leave food for them out. So all they get is what I give them, and usually their plates are empty. The problem with that way of feeding the cats is that they get really annoying when they know it's feeding time coming up because they're hungry. But on the other hand, it takes care of their weight better because the way they are made, if you give them food all the time, they will just eat most of it. Well, most cats. Some cats are somehow able to really control themselves and portion themselves out during the day, but most cats aren't. I know they just want to eat. They're like, I'm a bit bored. I'm gonna go eat. They're just like us in the end. I don't think that's an eating disorder. I think it's just the instinct of the cat to be like, oh, hey, I have access to food now. I better eat as much as I can because I'm not quite sure I'm gonna have access to food later on. I don't think that's a conscious thing they do. I think it's a really instinct in them. And they get really affected. Like if you think of Linus, who struggled to find proper food, now it has left, like it has changed his instinct to the point that now that he has like a reliable access to food, he will still be really, really focused on it. Like he tries to open the cupboards where his food is. Even if the cupboard is well closed and difficult for a cat to open, he will figure out a way to open it. If they leave a garbage bag just indoor the time it takes to carry it out, he will try to pierce the bag and get to the food in there. Sydney just doesn't drink any water at all. That's peculiar. Not very practical for us. Us humans too. It's like, drink! Kitty, why won't you drink? Another thing that I would suggest possibly looking into is not referring yourself to the feeding directions that are on the food itself, like on the labels or on the packaging. It makes no actual sense what they say in there. It's either too much or too little. Shaded Turby color point. Oh, I think I've seen cats like that. That's such a beautiful pattern. It's like a really lighter color, but you have the tabby pattern, but the tabby pattern is the 30 colors. I sometimes forget to hydrate myself, honestly. Oh, same. Sometimes I'm like, hey, I'm really thirsty. Hold on a second. Not a drop. Oh, really? Wow, that's weird. Because even if a cat is not interested in the allocated water bowl, usually they find a way to acquire water. Like they will go drink in the toilet, they will drink from weird stuff in the sink. Sometimes they might drink from when you have house plants and they have water in the saucer because you just watered the plants. Have you tried a different temperature of waters as well? Like really cold, lukewarm, room temperature? Or perhaps you would like to, like if you put an ice... hold on. An ice cube. Perhaps you would, like in the water bowl, perhaps you would lick the ice cube. I don't know. Hey, Anastasia, hi. Hello, hello. I think that dealing with cats or with any animal would be so much easier if they could speak to us in a way we understand, actually. Yeah, sure, I get you, meow, 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 but what does that mean? So maybe like Sydney could be like, you know, I don't really like water in this way, but if you had sparkly water, I would drink it. A friend's dogs only drink rainwater. Huh. Oh, a muted calico. I think it's just that, yeah, everything is lighter. You can have muted tortilla as well. Well, it's the same thing. Instead of being black, it's gray, and instead of being orange, it's cream. All temperatures, tap dripping, plant water. Haven't tried an ice cube. That can be next. Tipper, orange mackerel tabby. Oh, those are crystals, kid. Yeah, orange mackerel tabby. Is it full on like deep orange, or is it the lighter orange with like cream and sort of this lighter orange hue? Tucker, gray mackerel tabby, orange mackerel tabby. Classic pattern torby. Oh, I like torties and torbies and calicos. I can just imagine a cat demanding sparkling water. Can you imagine? No, I need the soda machine to give me water, please. Like, what? Fine. Tupper and Tucker hold. Oh, that's the word. Dilute, yeah. Muted. It's dilute, calico, dilute, torty. Or torby, or whatever. Ah, Sydney's is being difficult. She's like, human, this is not enough of a challenge. Let me show you what a real challenge can be. Hold my beer. Though it would be hold my kibble. The other day, you know, it's winter here in Canada, and as a result of the weather being generally cold, the same happens with tap water. Meaning that if you open up the cold water in the winter, it tends to be much colder than if you do so in the summer, because the pipes are in the ground and the ground is frozen over and it's cold. And the other day, Mr. E prepared some water for the cats, and he made sure the water was not that cold. And that's what Scout wanted, and she went and drank from it, and she was happy, and I was like, aww. It's like, it's out of work and it's silly at times, but they're so cute, you cannot really hold it against them. Who says, Like the cat says, my water must be from a sparkling fresh glacier water source dispensed from a crystal and diamond mini waterfall indoors. And then the cat will go and drink in the toilet. And you're like, yeah. Alrighty then. Have you tried giving Sydney tuna can juice? I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it's watery and smells and tastes like fish, so. An infusion of kibble in water. Filtered and then served. Cold. On ice. Yeah. I would recommend not letting kitties drink from water on their plants since soils often have a lot of fertilizers and such. That's a very good point, Heather. It's not always possible to prevent a cat from doing so, but yeah, it's probably not the best idea to let them do so. Alright, I'm thinking I might stop here today because I'm getting tired, like I said, and these are kind of important in the sense that I really want to do a good job on them, and I don't want to get to the point where I'm tired enough that I start making mistakes, like not on these. So either we do something else for the rest of the stream, but might just make it a shorter one to be a bit different. Any specific question or things you are curious about? With an umbrella. With a parasol, if that's a word. Hey, Joy! The vet said not to do that because of the salt. Aw, that's a good point. I do put her dry food in a puddle of water and it goes with the kibble. Oh, that's good. That's a good way to have her drink a bit of water. Oh, I'm glad you've enjoyed the Caturday, Cleo. I enjoyed it too. I'm just a bit bummed that I'm tired and it's this weird feeling of like being winded from life, which is kind of surreal a bit. Maybe light meat or chicken broth with almost no salt. That's not a bad idea. If you get chicken, like chicken with bones, you can probably make it from that and just not add any salt or seasoning to it. Just boiled. Oh, I should put the drawings back on screen instead of having nothing in there. That would be a bit more interesting. Oh. There, that's a bit more interesting, right? I'm really happy with the paintings so far, and I really don't want to mess them up because it's really important to me to send something I'm happy with to my patrons. I will of course be scanning these for, you know, safekeeping and probably just for sharing online on Instagram and all that, but yeah, these are all originals, and my patrons will be receiving one of these originals when I'm done with them. So I think that's kind of it's a lot of work. I'm that's something I need to get better at, but assuming I can find my ideas better, I think it's quite doable for me to keep offering these. It's Mages of the Paw, which is an order of cat mages that we've invented for our comic. It's basically just Mr. E and I, we like cats, and we were like, we need to put some cats in our comic, and then we're like, oh, but cat mages, that would be so much fun. And we were like, oh yes, cat mages, and I have another 5 here that I need to paint still. So, yeah, all sorts of mages. Has anyone had the flu yet? Not yet. Hopefully we will... Oh no, Cleo, you had the flu. I'm so sorry for you. That's so bad. Oh. Flu, it's like just... You just have to power through. There's not much to be done about it. I flew while I played so much video games. In between falling asleep or passing out on the floor. That's not good. Maybe for a set of cards. I would have to inquire if how comfortable the patrons are with me using this art for something else. But yeah, I'm having fun. A lot of work, but a lot of fun work, which is really enjoyable. So, so bad flu. Get flu shots next year, everybody, please. I don't think I've ever had the legit flu. Mr. Yad has had one, and yeah, it was basically just sleeping, reading for half an hour, then passing out to sleep again, and like struggling just to get up to go to the bathroom. Like everything in your body is saved up towards fighting this thing. So, what are all their powers? Oh, not quite sure. Definitely they all do magic. But this one is more like a fighter mage, obviously. You have like the more traditional mages in robes with hats. And I think some are like, if you remember, well, if you've seen in the comic, we put Pico and Scout in there just because we had to. And Scout is more like a fighter mage, and Pico is more like a protective and healer mage. So yeah, it's good fun. Oh yeah, and the fun continues on Discord. If you are somewhat new to this, we also have a Discord server on the side. And Discord is basically this really fun platform for chatting, and we keep talking about random stuff and fun stuff and art stuff and elf stuff and basically just about any stuff, as long as people are kind to each other and civil. that's the main focus, that everyone be nice. But so far everyone has been really nice, so I'm not really worried. But if you want to join, there's a link in the description or in the chat, and you can just click on the link and it will take you to the really easy setup process of creating an account, and you can join us over there. Oh my gosh, Cleo, I passed out, but I was already at the hospital for someone else who turned out not to be ill. Whoa. Hey, have a good week, Fitz. Yeah, okay. I think I'm good. Scout, fight me, Pico. No, it's yeah, and Jazz is in the comic too. She's super fancy. We're having a lot of fun putting cameos in there. So, I like the one with the chick fur. You haven't painted it. Yeah. It's difficult to draw long hair cats, but this one is more like a feral Viking mage cat. Just having fun. But yeah. Is there any other thing to mention? Oh yeah. Great big thank you to my moderators, Otto and Heather and Mallory, who have been here today. Otto has a really awesome channel. If you are somehow unaware of it and you like watercolor and you haven't stumbled upon our channel yet, which doesn't sound like something that would happen, but definitely go check it out. And all the links are in the description if you're curious about Patreon. and like these rewards and the Discord, and I think that's it for the links in the description. I think English is nearly out the building. Yeah, it's nearly out my brain. Yeah, I'm good. I think I'm done for. Oh, and Scout is still sleeping. So all right. Have a really great weekend, people. Have a great week. Oh, there is one thing I wanted to discuss, and I forgot, of course. But there might be some changes regarding the live stream. I need to look into it because having the live streams on my main channel is not really helping the channel itself. It's a bit of a problem with YouTube. So yeah, I was considering either having a separate channel where I keep the live streams or perhaps having them on Twitch. If you have any sort of input on that, feel free to leave it in the comments or come chat about it on Discord. And yeah, that's basically, like, if you see in the coming weeks that the live is somewhere else, that's fine. That's just me trying to find a better way to make this work. So yeah, have a great weekend. Stay away from sick people. Oh, well, yeah, it's preferable. But yeah, let's hope the sick people get better as well. And yep. All right. Bye, guys. Do you want to say bye? Yes. Hello. Hello. Oh. Oh, bon. Ok. C'est bon. On va faire le job. Minette. Minette. Oh, je goûte. Oh, je goûte.